Your grandparents bought one air conditioner. It ran for 25 years on a single charge of refrigerant and a yearly hose down. You bought yours 4 summers ago. It is already dead. The repair quote came in higher than what you paid for the unit. You are not imagining things. Modern air conditioners are engineered to fail. Today, I am going to show you exactly why and what to buy instead. This is Johnny. Welcome to the factory floor. If you are tired of getting played by the cookware aisle, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Here is what nobody in the HVAC industry wants you to understand. The average residential air conditioner used to last over 20 years. Units built in the 90s are still running in basements and backyards across this country right now. But units built after 2010 are dying at 7 to 8 years. That is not a guess. That is what repair technicians are reporting every single day. The average cost of a full air conditioner replacement in 2025 sits between $5,000 and $15,000 installed. You are now on a forced replacement cycle that did not exist 1 generation ago. This is not an accident. This is a business model. The 2006 and 2010 SEER efficiency mandates forced manufacturers to redesign their systems. They figured out they could hit the new efficiency targets by using cheaper, thinner materials, aluminum coils instead of copper, single wall tubing instead of double wall, plastic drain pans instead of steel. At the same time, private equity rolled through the industry. Carrier got spun off and passed around. Goodman got bought and restructured. Lennox went public and started answering to shareholders. The incentive shifted overnight, from building a unit that lasts to building a unit that sells and needs replacing. And now they are doing it again with the refrigerant transition. Millions of perfectly good systems are about to become expensive paperweights because the gas inside them is being pulled off the market. Everything I am about to share comes from cross-referencing HVAC technician forums, Consumer Reports reliability data, manufacturer spec sheets, and documented ownership histories. No sponsorships, no brand deals, just the facts. The first thing you need to understand is the coil con. Walk into any big box store and they will push units with all aluminum evaporator coils. They will tell you aluminum is just as good and lighter. What they will not tell you is that aluminum coils corrode faster in humid climates. They develop formicary corrosion from common household chemicals, your cleaning products, your air fresheners. That stuff eats through aluminum. When the coil fails, you are looking at replacing the entire coil assembly for $1,500 to $3,000. The shift from copper to aluminum saved manufacturers roughly $100 to $150 per unit. It costs you thousands when it fails in year 5. Look for units that still use copper evaporator coils or copper tube aluminum fin hybrid designs. Daikin still offers copper tube coils in their DX series. Mitsubishi uses copper refrigerant tubing throughout their P-series and S-series ducted air handlers. Bosch uses copper tube construction in their IDS 2.0. Copper resists corrosion. It can be field repaired with a simple braze job for $200 to $400 instead of a $2,000 coil replacement. It conducts heat 60% more efficiently than aluminum. A unit with copper coils costs $300 to $600 more up front. Over 15 years, it saves you $2,000 to $5,000 minimum. The aluminum coil switch is the single most profitable cost cut in modern HVAC manufacturing. Modern air conditioners are packed with proprietary circuit boards, marketed as smart and efficient. In reality, these boards are the #1 non-mechanical failure point on units under 10 years old. They fail because of power surges, humidity, and insects. When they fail, you cannot buy a generic replacement. You are locked into the manufacturer's parts supply chain. You are paying $400 to $800 for a board that costs $30 to produce, and you are often waiting weeks because the part is back-ordered or discontinued. The electrolytic capacitors on these control boards have a rated life of 5,000 to 10,000 hours at operating temperature. In an attic air handler reaching 140 degrees in summer, that is 3 to 5 years before degradation begins. Manufacturers skip the conformal coating that protects boards from humidity to save $2 to $5 per unit. Meanwhile, a simple contactor and capacitor system from the 90s has 2 replaceable parts available at any supply house for under $50 total. The Train XR series uses straightforward control logic with widely available replacement boards. Rheem's Classic series keeps electronics minimal. Complexity is not sophistication. Every unnecessary circuit board is a ticking clock and a profit center for the manufacturer's parts department. This next one is going to make you angry. Homeowners agonize over choosing between Carrier, Bryant, Payne, Heil, Tempstar, Keeprite, Comfort Maker, and Day and Night. Every single one of those brands is manufactured by the same company, Carrier Global Corporation. Same factory, same compressors, same coils, different logo. Lennox owns Lennox, Armstrong, Duquesne, and Concord. Rheem owns Rheem, Rude, and Weather King. Johnson Controls owns York, Luxair, Coleman, Champion, and Guardian. You are not choosing between competitors, you are choosing between marketing departments. Buy from manufacturers who actually engineer and build their own compressors. Daikin manufactures its own scroll compressors in-house. Mitsubishi Electric manufactures its own inverter compressors. Trane still manufactures its own Climatough compressors domestically. When a company builds its own core component, they own the failure, and they engineer against it. Stop paying brand tax on repackaged hardware. Now let me tell you about the refrigerant treadmill. The industry forced the transition from R202 to R410A. Millions of older systems became obsolete overnight. Now, before R410A systems have even reached the end of their natural lifespan, the industry is mandating another transition to R454B, starting January 2025. Every R410A system installed in the last 15 years is now on a countdown, not because the units are broken, but because the gas they run on is about to get scarce and expensive. R22 went from $10 per pound in 2010 to over $85 per pound by 2023. R410A is following the same curve, currently $5 to $8 per pound, projected to hit $30 to $50 per pound by 2030. If you are buying new right now, insist on an R454B ready system. Carrier's Aerojet series, Trane's Kvik series, and Daikin's Fit series are all shipping R454B units today. Here is the one that affects more homeowners than any other. The vast majority of residential air conditioning systems in America are the wrong size. Contractors routinely oversize units by half a ton to a full ton because bigger cools faster, and because it is easier to install a 4-ton unit than to spend 2 hours doing the math. An oversized system short cycles. It blasts cold air, hits the thermostat set point too fast, shuts off before it removes the humidity, and then kicks back on minutes later. That repeated starting and stopping destroys the compressor. Each start cycle draws 5 to 7 times the normal running amperage. Before you buy anything, demand a manual J-load calculation from your contractor. If they do not know what that is, fire them. For most modern, well-insulated homes under 2,500 square feet, a 2.5 to 3 ton variable speed system outperforms an oversized single-stage unit on every metric. The Daikin Fit, Bosch IDS 2.0, and Mitsubishi Suze Universal Outdoor Unit all deliver variable speed performance that adjusts output from 10 to 100% capacity. They run longer, quieter, and remove far more humidity. Sizing is the most ignored and most consequential decision in the entire air conditioning purchase. Now let me save you from the most effective marketing trick in the industry. The SEER rating. Salespeople push high SEER units with promises of massive energy savings. SEER is tested in a laboratory at a single ideal condition that almost never reflects real-world operation. A 20 SEER unit installed with leaky ductwork performs worse than a properly installed 14 SEER unit. To push SEER numbers above 20, manufacturers increase coil surface area with thinner, more fragile fins, packed tighter together. They add more circuit boards, more failure points. The Department of Energy's own studies show duct leakage in the average American home wastes 20 to 30% of conditioned air. Your 21 SEER system is effectively running at 15 SEER because a third of the air never reaches your living space. Target the 16 to 18 SEER range. Invest the money you would spend on a higher SEER rating into professional duct sealing instead. That costs $1,000 to $2,500 and reduces energy waste by 20 to 30% immediately. The last thing I want you to know is the one the American HVAC industry has spent decades trying to bury. Ductless mini-split systems are not just for additions and garages. They are the dominant residential cooling technology in Japan, South Korea, Europe, and Australia. The industry dismisses them because contractors make more money on ducted installs. A ductless system eliminates duct losses entirely. That is 20 to 30% of your energy that stops getting dumped into your attic. Inverter compressors modulate continuously instead of slamming on and off. They hold temperature within half a degree. The Mitsubishi Electric Hyperheat Use FH series is the gold standard. It is rated to heat effectively down to negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit, and it comes with a 12-year compressor warranty. Fujitsu Halcyon is the value alternative, with similar Japanese engineering at 15 to 20% lower cost. A 3-zone Mitsubishi Hyperheat system installed runs $12,000 to $18,000. A comparable central ducted system with new ductwork runs $15,000 to $25,000 or more. Federal tax credits currently cover 30% of qualified heat pump installations, up to $2,000. The rest of the developed world already made this switch. This is Johnny of the factory floor. If you found this valuable, subscribe so you will not be ripped off. And do not forget to watch the next video that will appear on your screen.